Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. Today's episode we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, as well as the graph, and talking about some of the latest news information and looking at the charts over here as well. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, especially if you want more cryptocurrency news and trying to be caught up with everything. I try to get you guys all the latest, greatest news for this stuff. Also, guys, just so you know, I'm not a financial advisor, so I do recommend that you go ahead and take some time and do some extra research on your own. Please do not ask me for actual financial advice, what you should or should not invest in. I'm sharing with you my opinion on things. I'm making that totally clear, but a wise person should go do further research. Hopefully this is helpful though for you. Please guys, also if you can, make sure you hit that thumbs up like button. We're trying to get to at least 50 likes on this video. It'd be amazing if we could push for 100. Click the bell icon so you know when we have a new video, and let's get right on into this. Yeah? Okay, so Elon Musk sparks wild speculation Tesla could buy Bitcoin. This was a little bit of a back and forth that took place over on Twitter. Musk, the CEO of both Tesla and satellite company SpaceX, was responding to Michael Saylor, the chief executive of MicroStrategy, a business intelligence company that has attracted significant attention in recent months by buying over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. If you want to do your shareholders a $100 Bitcoin favor, convert the Tesla balance sheet from dollars to Bitcoin, Saylor told Musk, replying to a Bitcoin meme Musk had posted. Other firms on the S&P 500 would follow your lead, and in time, it would grow to become a $1 trillion favor. Okay, so one of the questions that Musk had asked in response was, are such large transactions even possible? Musk asked in response, triggering a flood of responses from the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency community, as well as Saylor, who told Musk he could share his Bitcoin buying playbook with him from one rocket scientist to another. The internet will break if Elon Musk converts any of Tesla's balance sheet into Bitcoin, Anthony Pompliano, the founder and partner at Bitcoin and crypto-focused hedge fund Morgan Creek Digital, said via Twitter. Now, Peter Schiff, a prominent gold investor and Bitcoin skeptic, warned Musk not to, quote, fall for this con. Michael, like all involved in the Bitcoin pyramid scheme, must recruit new buyers into the scheme to keep it going, Schiff said, adding Musk shouldn't leave Tesla shareholders holding the same bag as MicroStrategy shareholders. He's just mad because his gold is doing crap. That's why. And his son is making bank. His son actually is doing Bitcoin, which is really ironic with all this. Dogecoin jumps 20% after Musk's tweet, shout out, Bitcoin joke spurs dialogue with Saylor. Right, so it's kind of the build up to the previous one, but the other one was, I think, a big talking point we should have started with, and so that's why I did. At 9:30 UTC, Musk opened Twitter and wrote to his 40 million followers, one word, Doge. That's all he wrote in the tweet was Doge. Doge immediately spiked to 0.0047, its highest mark since early July. At press time, some of the gains had been retraced with Doge trading hands at 0.0045 on Binance. Musk also fired off a series of entertaining and often racy Bitcoin tweets. In one, he said, Bitcoin is almost as BS as fiat money, which could be construed as a backhanded compliment if one tries hard enough. Okay. Now, this is an article written by the Motley Fool, and this guy that wrote this, he is a fool, you know, and I'm going to explain why. So, there's so much to this. Let's just go through this as quickly as we can. Here's why I won't buy Bitcoin, and you shouldn't either. So, one of the key takeaways that he says is, but I am not part of that community. Talking about the Bitcoin cryptocurrency community, nor can I say I ever will be. The higher Bitcoin goes, the more convinced I am that it's one of the most dangerous investments. It's making more money, and he's saying that it's dangerous. Each of the major buy these surrounding Bitcoin can be easily debunked as follows. He says easily debunked. Okay, well, let's hear what he has to say, and then I'll easily debunk his debunks. So one quote is, Bitcoin is scarce and therefore holds incredible value. The problem is that Bitcoin lacks genuine scarcity. Its perceived cap of 21 million tokens exists because of computer code. Last I checked, code can always be erased and rewritten. While it's unlikely that a community consensus would be reached to increase the circulating supply of Bitcoin, the possibility of this happening isn't zero. By comparison, a precious metal like gold has a hard supply limit. We can't use alchemy to make more gold. That statement is Dun, 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 dun. Anyone want to take a guess? It's false. You can use alchemy. In fact, there's a research facility that's over here in Los Angeles, and they actually have a whole big rig. I watched a documentary about it before. I think it was on Netflix, and it was included in this. And it was saying how you can use technology to make artificial gold. The only problem with it is that based on our current technology, you're spending more money on the process of creating the gold, and for the amount that you're creating it's so small that's not economically viable. But to say that you can't use alchemy to make more gold, we already have science that is able to make more gold. And guess what? Technology continues to accelerate at an alarming rate. So to think that in the future we're not going to be able to mass produce gold seems a little bit ludicrous. And so you're basing one perspective of saying like, hey, we have a hard supply limit, and then you're comparing it to something that's digital code that's been implemented in, that's decentralized. Theoretically down the road, yeah, maybe they could expand it out a little bit more, right? But this is just such an asinine remark. How much gold in all of planet Earth have we actually been able to mine? And the idea of the creation and the formation of the planet, it's actually been hypothesized that iron and gold has been pulled towards the core. So if that is true, and we have some core, if we have some gold deposits that are resting on the top crust element, what about the mantle? What about further into the depths? We have so much to reach the center of the earth that we barely even can tap into. To say that there's a hard supply limit, there's how much more gold inside the earth? Do you know definitively? You don't, do you? So it could be way, way astronomically high. All those meteors that are up in the space, right? Elon Musk and people are looking to go and mine gold off of those things, cause it to shatter and rain gold down into our atmosphere, right? You can find more gold out there in the universe. It may not sound as easy to capture and stuff, but technology continues to advance. As it is with the code is identified as something specific, so I don't think it's a sufficient response to say that gold is a hard supply limit, because gold is not a hard supply limit. So already just that last statement alone makes it totally nonsense that he's trying to say, well, gold is better than Bitcoin, because no, it's not for that reason. Next thing is Bitcoin is becoming more popular with retailers by the day. Even following its monumental rally, Bitcoin has a total market value of $400 billion. That compares to approximately $142 trillion of global gross domestic product, GDP, in 2019. While it's true that not all GDP is consumption-based, this $400 billion accounts for less than 0.3% of global GDP. So then he goes on to say that there are not nearly enough tokens in existence to drive widespread adoption based on these figures. According to Fundera, just 2,300 of these businesses are accepting Bitcoin. Well, guess what? Remember, PayPal just now partnered up with this, and they have, I think it's like 23,000 merchants, different businesses. That's a lot more than 2,300. Okay. And a lot of other places, their banks are starting to get associated with cryptocurrencies. It's expanding. You can't identify it like as if the whole world has reached its climax for this thing. It's 11 years old, and it's only becoming big enough now that the big players are starting to take it serious, and they're going to open the doorways for everything else. You know, so this number is absolutely insane and stupid that he's putting this out there. Face the facts, there's no widespread utility. It just got started. It's just now starting to become widespread. Talk to me again about this in 10 years, and let's see what the figures change in that. You know, if you want to say 10 years ago from today, from where it was, yeah, it's incredibly more. Name anything else that's expanding this dramatically and has accrued this much of an interest rate. No asset in history of humanity, right, has ever accrued this much interest in this amount of time. Bitcoin is the highest performing asset of all time. That's an undeniable fact. Bitcoin is the new store of value. Second store of value assets are designed to maintain their value over time and protect investors from volatility. I disagree with that. You're trying to say gold is like great because it doesn't move in price at all. People buy gold, a lot of them are wanting it to go up in value so that if something does happen with the financial the fiscal money, your country's money, right? And it goes down. Okay, well, you get something else that feels more reliable. The other countries feel it's more safe with that as well. But you're also buying gold because you're expecting its value to go up against that of the dollar, right? You don't want it to be a stable coin. That's not the value of you taking out your money and putting it into something else. You're always looking to try and accrue a profit. Yet in March, Bitcoin nearly lost half of its value in a 24-hour period. Okay, in 2018, the largest cryptocurrency by market cap shed over 80% of its value. So when he says that almost half of its value went down, guess what? Gold had got a really bad hit too. The stock market got a really bad hit too. To again, focus on something and make it sound like Bitcoin is different, it's more volatile with these other things, is a little bit more volatile at times. But the whole market, everything got hit in March. It wasn't just Bitcoin. So it's kind of a ridiculous thing to say, oh, in March, let me start with that. Everything hit. You can't just focus on Bitcoin. You're trying to prove a point and you're trying to exclude it as if that's part of your point, but you're not including the other things because then it would invalidate your point. In 2018, the largest cryptocurrency by market cap shed over 80% of its value. In 2013, Bitcoin lost about half its value in about 6 hours. This isn't how a store of value asset behaves. Well, guess what? We're at an all-time high right now, dude. You just wrote this article and Bitcoin is at the highest price that it's ever been, right? More people are picking it up. What is this logic saying like, oh, because it dropped a whole bunch before, it's not reliable? Everyone is making profit with it. Like 90%, 99% of anyone that ever bought Bitcoin, 100%, if you held on to Bitcoin at any point in time and you did not sell it and you sold it right now, like 99.99% of everyone would have made more money. You can't say that with gold. Jeez, man. The value of how much that you've gained with gold, like, dude, it's just ridiculous. The truth is buying Bitcoin is pure speculation. You're naive. A digital payment revolution is underway and it's led by Bitcoin. So anyways, just kind of finishing this off, Sean Williams has no position in any of the cryptocurrencies mentioned. The Motley Fool has no position in any of the cryptocurrencies mentioned. The Motley Fool has a disclosure policy. So they're not even involved in this industry space and they're trying to critique it like as if they're some sort of expert. You know, maybe you should actually get involved in the cryptocurrency space and understand the fundamentals a lot more before you write an article like this and make a fool out of yourself. That's just my opinion. I think I spent too much time on that. Let's go through these other ones really quickly. Bitcoin tycoon Mike Novogratz breaks down how the pandemic accelerated the cryptocurrency revolution. And 5 years from now, we are going to see 2020 as horrible as Corona was and lots of people have lost their lives. We're going to look back and in some weird way, this is going to have been a blessing for the cryptocurrency revolution, Novogratz said. Novogratz added that there could not be a better macro story for owning Bitcoin right now. The second trend that propelled cryptocurrencies, the expansion of digital life that may lead to more investors to feel comfortable using a digital wallet. This digitalization of everything Zoom is part of our lives now, Novogratz said. Bitcoin's expensive, but this technique proves it's never too late to buy a Bitcoin. Retail investors may think Bitcoin is now too expensive to buy, but dollar cost averaging has proven to be one of the most effective methods available. So, as shown in the chart above, you guys can see right here, an investor who purchased $1,000 in 2017 has significantly increased their portfolio value and outperformed all traditional markets during the 3-year time span. Now, using the Bitcoin DCA tool, an investor can see that $100 invested weekly into Bitcoin since the December 2017 all-time high would currently be sitting on a portfolio worth $40,867 at the current Bitcoin value. As shown in the chart below, a total investment of $15,700 invested over the course of $100 per week resulted in a 160% increase in value in 3 years. Dollar cost average is used by large funds to ease into new positions. Even large institutions utilize this strategy to increase their exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is from MicroStrategy. Same person that, one of the individuals that represents this company, when he was talking with Elon Musk earlier in our conversation in this video, to acquire 16,796 Bitcoin, we traded continuously 74 hours, executing 88,617 trades. So that's at 0.19 Bitcoin every 3 seconds on average, $39,414 in Bitcoin per minute. But at all times, we were ready to purchase $30 to $50 million in a few seconds if we got lucky with the 1 to 2% downward spike. Data reflects grim statistics for day traders, as 80% to 95% of day traders actually lose money. You understand that? Most people that do the trading every day, they're losing money. This figure is not just for cryptocurrency markets, but with all trading markets as well. All trading markets. I feel like that guy with the Motley Fool would be like, hey, why put your money into Bitcoin? Just hold your money. That's the safest way to do it. It's not going to lose value then, except it does, you know, when you like take your dollar to go buy a Snickers and they're like, hey, it's $3 now. You're like, what? I just held on to my dollar though. What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? Does Bitcoin boom mean better gold or bigger bubble? Quick take. This is from the Washington Post. And they wrote this big article, and as you guys can see, I barely highlighted anything here. So is this another bubble, or is Bitcoin really digital gold? They said that's still unclear. The title of this article was to try and find an answer to this, and they remain neutral on it. How can I buy Bitcoin or invest in it? This is also interesting, though. There are a bunch of ways, all with different risks. People can buy the coins directly from exchanges like Coinbase. They only list one here. Accredited investors can also invest in vehicles like the Bitcoin Investment Trust, which tracks Bitcoin's price. So they only listed Coinbase, but you've got Kraken, you've got Binance US, you got all these other ones. They focus specifically on that one, which means that this article will draw more attention towards Coinbase. I'd be concerned a little bit with, not concerned, but I think people should keep an eye on the levels of volume that kind of follows after today. If there's a large increase that you guys notice or not taking place specifically on Coinbase because of this post. So, you know, might draw some more people in. You guys can see it has 0 comments. A lot of times people make these posts on these things and they don't get any replies anyways. And this is like about 4 hours ago. So anyways, early Bitcoin dev misses out on $1.3 billion after selling too soon. I'd be a billionaire now if I hadn't sold the 55,000 Bitcoins I mined on my laptop in 2009 to 2010 way too early. I was planning to hodl the rest of my Bitcoin, but had to sell the most of it at a bad rate, less than $5 in 2012, when finding a new job took longer than expected, said Malmi. Since then, I've kept my varying amount of savings in Bitcoin. That's not much, but still nice gains over the years. Furthermore, with Bitcoin's recent rally to $24,000, Malmi's original 55,000 Bitcoin holdings would now be worth more than $1.3 billion. Despite this, the former developer says he never had serious regret. This hasn't been as rough as it might first sound, said Malmi. It's not like I ever had $1 billion and lost it overnight. Besides Bitcoin's success, I was pretty darn happy about getting my own apartment at age 22. He added, perhaps owing to Finish's culture, idealistic mentality, and lack of life experience, I never thought much about making money. It happened accidentally as a byproduct of Satoshi asking me to keep my node running so others could connect. Moving on, how to earn Bitcoin rewards on your stimulus checks. Wait, what? What was that? You can earn? Okay. Quantic Bank, a New York-based CDFI, also known as a community development financial institution, recently launched a Bitcoin rewards checking account, which pays account holders 1.5% in Bitcoin on purchases made with the account's debit card. The rewards are actually held in an account administered by NYDIG, the digital asset subsidiary of Stoneridge. And I've talked about Stoneridge before and their involvement with Bitcoin, an alternative asset manager. The NYDIG account doesn't give account holders the ability to buy more Bitcoin, so they'll have to liquidate and transfer their Bitcoin rewards if they wish to cash in on the rewards. Quantic customers don't pay any monthly service fees for their checking account with Quantic, although NYDIG charges a 2% fee to execute the sale or liquidation of the account holder's Bitcoin holdings. Square Cash App now lets customers get Bitcoin back on purchases, so even more bullish news. Check this out. Previously, Cash App had only allowed clients to get U.S. currency back on transactions. In November, in the company's third quarter earnings report, Square said Cash App generated $1.63 billion of Bitcoin revenue, up 11 times from the 1 year ago period. The move is another sign of the growing mainstream acceptance of Bitcoin and the increasing importance of the leading cryptocurrency to Cash App and its parent. It's also likely a move to stay a step ahead of rival PayPal, which recently dove headfirst into the cryptocurrency arena. Cash App's upgrade is the latest in a continuing trend of Bitcoin-backed rewards product offerings after cryptocurrency lending firm BlockFi announced its partnership with Visa to launch a Bitcoin-backed credit card in early 2021, per CoinDesk prior reporting. All right, let's go ahead and head into the charts here. Take a look at this. I had set this up several days ago, this top level of resistance, and it is absolutely holding true, super strong. You guys can see back on December 19th, its candle just barely passing above that line. And then yesterday, December 20th, for its daily candle close, the top of the wick had barely gone just underneath that line. On the new day, we are in a continuation pattern up. This is actually good because we had a lot of days of green candles. We needed to have a day of red. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row of nothing but positive gains. And so we had one red day. I don't know if there's going to be more or not, but at least we had some retracement, some cool down taking place before another rally might have a further continuation on. Very important, guys. Let's keep an eye on it. Keep an eye out on it and see if it's going to hold above the range right around $23,000, $23,100 roughly. And if it has a further continuation drop, another major level, we only have one instance right here, but also $22,300, and then another level at $21,650. Right now it is in the green, looking more positive. If it pushes up, that level of resistance once again is going to be at $24,500 this time. Tomorrow it would be at $24,700, $24,900, and then at $25,000 on Christmas Eve. So we could be seeing a nice little Christmas present for us. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. Looking at the graph. Well, the graph, interestingly, is actually showing a bit of a decline right now. On the new daily formation, as I was setting this all up, it was actually in the positive zone. So there's some major sell-off that's starting to take place there. People might be starting to reallocate their funds into other tokens. I do know that a lot of people have been selling off their altcoins, like, for example, Orchid, Chainlink, New Cipher, and they were like, hey, everyone on Twitter, pump it, everybody put in the graph, right? And it's okay for smaller people to start doing that, and it's when it's rallying. But when the whales decide that they've had enough profits and this percentage gain is way too inflated, and then they dump theirs, it's going to cause panic with everyone else, right? So right now, there's a ton of FOMO going on with this. You guys can see the amount of volume that took place yesterday was insane, even more so than the day before. So a lot of people pushing in with this. It is fighting back once again, though. So these wicks are both high and low. The body itself, it is trying to fight, man. It's trying to get up to that dollar range. Yesterday hit over 81 cents. A lot of people are probably feeling once it hits that dollar range, it's going to start crashing pretty hard. If you ask my personal opinion, I think that is possible as well, especially if people are going to be wanting to try and capture this movement that's going on with Bitcoin. Again, you're taking your profits. If you got 4 times profit, you know, you take that and you look at the next big opportunity. If this is starting to slow down, you bet on the fastest horse, and a lot of people are probably trying to take profits on altcoins so that they can secure themselves a little bit more Bitcoin before it has that big climb and it's the most reliable, right? So we're seeing a lot of back and forth on this. We'll have to see how it plays out. Looking at it on the 4-hourly chart, just taking a look at this real quick. This last 4 hours, this new daily candle, which has only been a little bit over an hour, it's so much back and forth. There's a lot of volume going in with this. Now it's in the green, right? So this is very dangerous territory, guys. I think there's a good chance we'll push up towards the dollar range, but actually passing a dollar range and sustaining itself, I'm not sure about that. It could hit $1 and retrace back to around these levels at 75 cents. I don't know if it would drop much more. You could see a massive panic take place, but I mean, the amount that this has grown in its first couple days is highly unusual. You never really see something like this. So I'm just saying, guys, be really cautious. You could get caught up in the euphoria of wanting to make a profit, and then you get extremely burned like to the point where you don't want to do anything with crypto anymore. So just be careful. Let's go ahead and look at the next chart. Now looking over at Orchid. Well, guess what, guys? I said that we needed to have 3 days ideally of closing out below or above these points to identify the trend pattern, especially because it's Orchid. And I was talking about the fact that I see a further drop when I made my video yesterday, and guess what it did? It had a further drop down. It hit a bottom, recovered itself, and started pushing back up. And as I also said, it could potentially come back into this zone here. It had to break above these levels, which it did, and then retrace right back, and it closed out that day. I had also said this, and I've kept this pattern up the same, is that the symmetrical triangle pattern, if it decides to come back into it, it has up until December 22nd, and then it has to make a decision. I would be extremely surprised if it doesn't make a major move either up or down at this point, and a lot of the signs keep showing it on the downward side. I'm hoping that they announce something big soon, like, hey guys, staking is here, boom. Or hey guys, we're now doing something other than VPNs, boom. Give us something that's good, because right now we're just kind of cruising by with our 500 million token release that's been going on. January 6th, I believe, is where they're going to release another couple million more. Not like as bad as everything else that's been going on, but still, it's more that's going into circulating supply. Adding staking is going to be huge, and it's going to be so important of making it easier for that price to climb up and more incentivizing for people to get involved with this process, especially as they make their next steps. What would be really cool is if they actually announced two things at the same time. Hey, we got staking, and we also did something else other than VPNs. But we don't know, and a lot of people are wanting to find answers, and we're not hearing it. So everything that was gained yesterday, right now, guess what? It's gone. It's been an hour and 9 minutes, and most of this rally took place was right towards the end of the day, hit up here, and then, of course, a massive dump. A pump and dump, pump and dump. And a lot of weak hands are getting shaken out. A lot of people on Twitter are really upset with this. And I can understand, you know. For me personally, I'm not even going to break even on this. I'll be honest with you guys. Until it hits a little bit over 33 cents. So right now, I'm just riding it out, man. I'm keeping my faith in it. I'm not selling off and taking my losses. It is what it is, right? That's the golden rule of investing. Never invest more than what you're willing to lose. I believe in the project. I believe in its future. So right now I'm in the negative. I'm in the red. I've been doing some more dollar cost averaging, dropping down that price more. It was actually worse than the 33 cents before, but you know, it is what it is. And so we'll have to see how this continues to play out. Hopefully they have some good news. Hopefully something super dramatic doesn't happen that's negative, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see. And that's the waiting game with this. There's other tokens like the graph that's making big moves. I got just a tiny bit in that. I'm a little bit upset with myself about that too. Like I didn't really know what the project was at first when I heard about it. I saw it at 20 cents on Coinbase and I decided not to do anything with it. And then when I finally put a little bit of money in, it was right around like 50 cents. So, you know, that is what it is. Still technically more money than what I had before on it. So you can't argue with that too much, right? And yeah, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour on this. You can see most of this action took place in the last 8 hours or 5 hours because most of that was in that 4 hour period. And then also right here in the transition. And even then we can swap this over and it's more specifically like in a 2 hour period. So very much pump and then right back retracement dump. 15-minute chart. Huge rally taking place and then a sharp decline, and it's starting to smooth itself out just a bit here. Going back to the daily, as it is right now, needs to get back above 0.2619, 26 cents roughly, and that 21 EMA is resting right on top of that level of resistance. So interesting. That's 0.2660. And if it can break above that, let's see a break out of this consolidated zone that's been forming and stabilize itself more in the median zone of that other space. That's going to be at 0.2760 roughly. And yeah, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it there at that. Once again, sorry, I didn't mention this. I mentioned it in the previous video, but a bottom zone, let's make sure that it doesn't go below 0.2433. That's very strong signs of it being even more bearish. That could be a potential bottom though. And then another drop zone right down about here at 2346, 0.2346. Right now showing signs of bearishness. Has to reverse itself, has to climb back up, show some signs of recovery. It's got to do something here. Otherwise, it's likely to keep going down, guys. And tomorrow is so decisive. So if this does recover all the way back up, it's got a lot of ground it needs to recover. It is possible to recover that ground very quickly, as we saw in the candle close for yesterday. But it is what it is. Okay, so that's going to go and do it for this episode. Once again, guys, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this, please don't forget to subscribe for more cryptocurrency news and technical analysis. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that thumbs up like button. We are trying to get to at least 50 likes. Ideally, it'd be amazing if we could hit 100. Every like helps us. It helps us grow this community. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about everything today. If you have any thoughts, feedback, anything that's new, maybe I missed, all that good stuff, let us know in the comments down below. You guys are awesome. Click the bell icon so you know when we have a new video. Otherwise, YouTube won't tell you. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.